Hey guys, Dr. Clayton Roach here with Adjusting Attitudes. Now today, this is video number 3 of a 3 video series that we filmed specifically for you guys to talk about the #1 problem in our profession, which is retention. Now with my research, I told you in video 1 that the average North American chiropractor is keeping his or her patients for a mere 10 to 15 visits. Now that is very sad, and definitely patients cannot get the big idea of chiropractic in 10 to 15 visits. So what that is creating is slowly but surely a reputation for chiropractic. So you got patients leaving your practices after 10 to 15 visits with whatever story they're going to make up from what they had in 10 to 15 visits. Now that can be very good at times because we get great results, but again, if they leave, they didn't really get it, otherwise they'd still be under care. So that was the first video where we talked about the research, but we also divulged one of the reasons why you can have poor retention in your practice, and that is poor care and poor results. So if that's the case for you, you need to get yourself to a seminar, and you got to get excited again about doing what we do best, which is the chiropractic adjustment, and doing it with specificity and not getting sloppy, because you can't take that for granted because patients are paying you to change their lives. So make sure that you're either perfecting what you're doing or you're getting dipped in another technique that you might have procrastinated at learning. Get yourself to a seminar if you're getting poor results and your care is not up to snuff. In the second video, we talked about your infrastructure as being one of the causes of poor retention, which was made up of 3 parts. We talked about your staff, we talked about your day 1 and day 2 procedures, and number 3, we talked about your doctor's report. So I won't go into more details on that. If you want to look at it, look at video number 2, but your infrastructure with poor staff, day 1, day 2 procedures that aren't up to snuff, and a doctor's report that you're either not doing or not performing the way you should be doing it. In this video, we're going to talk about, to me, according to my research, what is the most important aspect to keeping your patients for a lifetime, and that is communication. Now, communication is very important. Now, you have to realize that many of the leaders in our profession are telling us that we need to tell the message and we need to tell the chiropractic story time and time again, but they have to realize that chiropractic is over 120 years old, and we've been telling the story for a long time. And we're being told to say it louder and more often. However, after all these years, our retention is a mere 10 to 15 visits, and that's the reality. So where are we going wrong? At this day and age, with all the technology that we have, you need to be dipping your patients every week with information that inspires them. So one, you got to do the research in terms of what your patients want to hear. You have to be engaging, because nowadays, the average person, and I just read this stat, gets over 100 emails in a day. So where does your email rank with everything else that they're receiving in that day? Is it interesting? Are they just going to put it aside and say they'll get to it later? So somehow we have to leverage technology, and we have to leverage technology in a way that grabs your patient's attention, grabs them by the throat and says, here's great content, open me, so that they can get the information that you're trying to transmit to them. Now, here's where I took it to a whole different level. I leveraged technology, but I also leverage video technology. So one of the important things you need to know is that written emails, written content does not get read as much as video content gets viewed. Video wins all the time. So what I then did is I interviewed over 1,200 of my patients, and I figured out that there are very distinct emotions that patients go through during their care. So over 1,200 patients, and that has not been done before, and this is information that's totally revolutionary and has revolutionized my practice, is that with these 1,200 interviews that I did, I got to know very precisely what my patients felt at different points during their care. So what I then did is, knowing this information, I created videos that basically touched base with the emotions that they were having at the time. So now, not only do I have great content that's engaging through video, I also have content that touches base with the conversation that they were already having in their head but may not have expressed it verbally yet. So that's when you start kicking butt and you start having patients that start looking forward to your communication, that start looking at your content, that start being the elite patients, the ones that refer patients to you, the ones that, you know, before their last anniversary report, their last progress exam, they're already asking you on how they're going to be able to maintain the wonderful results that they got from your practice. So communication is very key, but you have to make sure that, one, you know what your patients want and you have the technology to be able to send it to your patients in a very engaging way, hopefully through video, and you have to do it in a way that's automated, because the last thing you want to do is to manually send these videos and send the content, because you're probably doing this and you're probably doing Facebook and you're probably doing Twitter, and all of a sudden you really need one person hired to do all of that. So you got to be able to do something that's consistent, that's leverageable, and that's going to get you results. So just to recap, number one problem for retention is going to be poor care, poor results. Number two, your infrastructure that we further broke down to staff, day one, day two, and your doctor's report. And lastly, communication, which you have to leverage through technology. And nowadays, video is the best way to do it. It has to be engaging, it has to be great content, and it has to touch base with your patient's emotions and what they're feeling throughout their care. All right? Dr. Clayton Roach, stay tuned for more information where, you know, we'll give you a little bit more insight into this problem that our profession is having, which is keeping their patients. And obviously, if you're not keeping your patients, you're looking for the next new patient, where you're running and you're marketing and you're spending time away from other things that you would love to be doing, and one of those things could be your family. So you want to make sure that you're running a practice that's efficient, and you know that whatever energy you're going to put in to attracting new patients, you're able to keep them. Dr. Clayton Roach with Adjusting Attitudes, hoping that you love this 3-video series. Stay tuned for more. Take care.